I'm Walid, the founder of One Vision Hub. 8 years ago, I had the privilege of working with Florian, the founder of Clim8, helping him craft his business canvas to pitch his investors. Today, I'm excited to share his remarkable journey from concept to successful scale-up. Clim8 is revolutionizing the apparel industry with their innovative smart heating technology. Their products automatically regulate body temperature based on individual needs and environmental conditions. What started as a vision to create a second skin has now evolved to partnership with major brands like Carhartt and Eddie Bauer. What's fascinating about Florian's journey is the patience and resilience it required. It took 4 years just to develop their initial product, and another 4 years to gain significant market traction. As a deep tech startup bridging hardware and software, Clim8 faced unique challenges in industrialization and scaling. The company's success stems from their strong focus on innovation, product superiority, and building the right team. With about 20 core team members and 30 plus investors who've stayed committed throughout the journey, Clim8 has maintained its innovative edge while scaling its operations. But here's what makes this story even more exciting. Clim8 isn't done innovating. They're now working on a cooling technology, which could be a game changer in the industry by 2026, 2027. Want to learn more about this fascinating journey of innovation, leadership, and scaling a deep tech startup? Watch the full interview to discover valuable insights for entrepreneurs and innovation enthusiasts. Enjoy. Hi, Florian. Thank you for your time today. I'm so happy to have you on this podcast, and I'm so happy to see you after some time now, since you started the company and since our time in Hong Kong. So today we're going to speak about Clim8 and your incredible journey as an entrepreneur and as an innovator. And I wanted to have this moment together so we share a bit of how did the idea start, how did the challenge came to mind, and what got you on this incredible journey. So just for our audience here, just to introduce Clim8. So Clim8 is a company which specializes in smart heating technology. So this is a deep tech technology. Your products are designed to automatically regulate body temperature based on the wearer's activity, and the temperature, outside temperature, and cold sensitivity. And your technology is applied across various industries, so you include in motorcycling, workwear, outdoor activities, snowmobiles, and I think recently you mentioned also on the defense side as well. So you're starting to make threads in there, so the users can extend their comfort in extreme conditions. So this is a very, very exciting moment for me, is to see this company from the time where we were in Hong Kong together, and it's been already 8 years now since you started this, and since our first times talking about it. And I remember how excited you were during the initial phases of the development of the product, and the patents and the development with the engineers that with your co-founders as well, with the engineers that contribute to that. So how about you share a bit about yourself, share about the story of how Clim8 started, what the inspiration behind?
Sure. Thanks a lot, Walid. Yes, what a journey. We 8 years ago we were discussing together in Hong Kong about what could be this journey, how I was envisioning, and that's I'm proud and happy to 8 years after to discuss today and share with the audience. So once again, thank you so much for the invite, and I hope everyone will be excited to learn about some of the key learnings and this journey.
Yes.
So pretty much Clim8 is you absolutely described it that way. We are a technology, a kind of deep technology. We develop pretty much reactive insulation. So we are able now to, in the cloth, to integrate electronics. And the goal when we started was the vision from the day one was really to create a second skin, an apparel or skin which is able to cool you down when it's hot outside or heat you up when it's cold outside. And since this day, if you look at our business canvas that I wrote it, I would say probably 95% is still on the way. And having this vision and going year after year into it help us to position to decide to make some also discussion with our investors from there that it's going to be a long journey. It won't be a super ramp up and a scale up immediately. That will need quite a lot of time, and that's definitely the specs also of the deep tech. Sorry. But the fact that we work on apparel, that we work on hardware, and we work on software. So when you combine those three elements together, that's really a lot of time and energy and expertise that you need to put together.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful, Florian. So, how did you come up with the idea? That's quite a it's quite an inspiring story. I remember we discussed it, but I would love to have this story again, like 8 years after, and for those who do not the story behind Clim8. So, how did you just get inspired to come up with this? I love the word second skin that you mentioned.
Oh, thanks. No, it came with it's a fact. It was at CES Las Vegas 2015, and for the first time we were seeing some electronics embedding into apparel, product that was getting not anymore an Iron Man outfit, but getting like pretty much my sweater today, or it could be your shirt, right? But having also inside some sensors and some, and that's really opened up a completely new industry. At this stage, I was a general manager for sports brands, taking care of Asia Pacific. So I was already pretty much involved into this outdoor field and sports field, and I said, hey, yes, that brings so many new opportunities. From imagine a garment and apparel could be from a passive to a reactive. An apparel could react based on the outsmart the environments outside, or just based on my preferences, work the way I like, which is different than yours. Everyone, and that's how we started, and I think I've been very lucky. I met one of my co-founder, Julien, which I didn't know before. That's also something I would say. I was very lucky, and he's one of the world best scientists for thermal physiology, so how the body react, and putting some of the knowledge from my head from the sports and the textile part towards his knowledge into apparel and physiology and human physiology, how it works. That made a nice alchemy, and that's how the story started.
That's an inspiring story, and when you met and you discussed with your co-founder, so what was that aha moment that you know that Clim8 has a potential to disrupt the market?
So it took us years. It took us 3+ years. I believe that's end of 2019 when we got approached by brands and say yes, and we got at the same time the first market feedback. So it took us almost 4 years, right, to build up a technology and to put this technology on the market. So I think for me that was very this, hey, brands come to you, the sellout is interesting, I think we're on something. And the brands immediately find out our unique USP, how different we were.
Yeah.
And since then I think we have been leveraging even more our science, our R&D background, more and more, pushing our strength as much as we could. That's pretty much, and I think the second wow moment is pretty much, I think, now, because we have something also in the pipe, and I think that's going to be also super. So I really think maybe we are pretty slow. It's every 4 years, but it seems that's also a quite interesting time for us now.
That's wonderful. That's you mentioned it took you about 4 years to get the product developed. This is an amazing lesson of resiliency. I mean, most of the enterprises, they would try to go through the first year and see if they have if they can even break even, or if they have a solid business case. And in the case of a deep tech, for the technology that you're developing, the cycles of development are quite long to develop a product till the end. So I think those early days, what are the biggest obstacles you face while developing this innovative technology?
There are two things. The first one is really the time. You're absolutely right. We are faster than the market to develop new technologies in a sense that apparel market, textile market works with collections, and there are windows across the year to several gates, and if you miss one of those, you just push back all your business by 12 months. And therefore that's really important to be able to be ready on the right time, and not rush, because if you rush sometime, the product is not working the way it should, and it's even worse, right? So I think that's an industry which is not very loves in innovation. Don't get me wrong, but this is quite disruptive to bringing a new fabric, a new membrane, new colors. Those are things that they use, and they do that for years and decades, right? But if you come and you say you are pretty much disrupting and creating brand new categories, you are putting also products which are quite more expensive than some of the traditional product they may sell, or standard product they may sell. So you have to bring a lot of USB to make sure that and people, when you talk about membrane fabrics, they are familiar with. When you talk about electronics, battery, and so on, they're absolutely not comfortable. So it takes even more time to test, more time to work with data. There is a lot of things that, but we go there, we get there, and anyway, it's always the market. When the market and the sellout is good, I mean, everyone is happy, and everyone pushing afterwards.
That's great to hear. Um, I remember when we sat together in Cyberport in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
and I was learning about all this new domain, and I was totally astonished to the level of um, creativity and innovation input. And I still remember that piece of fabric that you showed me that was connected to the CPU, and it has the threads in it,
Mhm.
which are responsible for heating the fabric. And it was eye-opening for me. So on the technology side, it was something that I personally never seen before. And hearing now from you that how the life cycle for this kind of apparels is working, and how you're, as a market disruptor, you're coming up with something totally different, which disrupts also the cycles of development of a classic fabric, or a classic clothing or apparel companies in the industry. So this makes me think. So what are, I'm just going to bring it a bit more on the design phase. So what methods did you use to design your value proposition at that time?
I used I use a business canvas, so something very simple, and I've been using one from a company that's in a sense I admire, because that's one of the best. We call it ingredient brand. It means it could be Intel. In the
Yeah,
case I was following, that was not Intel, but that was Gore, WL Gore, or
yeah.
Gore-Tex, people know.
Mm.
And that was, and if you look of, yeah, 95 or 90% of the business case, it's very similar to Gore. It's talking about um, product superiority. It's talking about lab testing, field testing, fit for use. Those are the words that I wrote in this canvas, and I still apply every day on my and those are the things. So that's I had already a chance to have one company which was having already some tools, some processes. What we did is we are not a competitor. We are in different field completely, but we have just put it, I would say, a bit more digital, a bit more data, a bit more AI inside, a bit more learnings and software. But we were still an ingredient brand providing a physical product instead of being a fabric that was a yarn, connected yarn, or that was some modules. Yeah.
That's great, because I remember when we sat together and we had that business canvas and we started working on that. I have very fond and vivid memories about that day we spent together in Cyberport in Hong Kong. One of the things that was there, and I recall you were about to pitch some investors, and one of the things that we discussed about a lot is the data aspect of it. Is the fact that you are wearing today as a user or as a client, you're wearing something which is connected to a computer, which can transmit temperature-related data continuously and connected through your app. And I think today you do have an app with your and you developed the app. And so could you tell me more about the mindset when you went to pitch your first investors with that information in mind, with the two aspects and the replication of the Cortex model and the value proposition and the data aspects, which I believe 8 years ago wasn't that prominent in that space, in the apparel space yet?
No, you're absolutely right, Walid. The chance we have is having a physical product that people can experience with, and that's make a tremendous difference than having just sometime an idea or just but we have a product that people experience with their body, with their hands, and that's connect the technology or the experience already way closer with investors. In Hong Kong, we had a chance. We were pitching heating in Hong Kong. That was maybe not the best place to pitch heating in terms of, but no, but we had also definitely people also interested for in sports, because also heating has some properties which is very interesting for athletes, recovery and then pre-post activity. Those are that was also an angle that we haven't that we didn't take, but that was also one of interest some of the investors, and I think, as you said, it was pretty interesting, and to have a basic apparel or a piece of fabric connected with already an app where we can monitor, analyze, activate, engage. Those are the things which, and that was I think 8 years ago that was quite unique, and now we have seen that many people followed, at least on the heating, what we did. But we still continue a lot with innovation. I think we were going to discuss a bit later, because for us, continuously improve the product with the best brands, that the key. And I think our investors, early investors, have seen that, perceived that, and they just get aligned with. And I would say we had almost all our initial investors. They are still in, and we had the last round, and we're still investing. So I think the story. Yeah.
Wonderful. Would you recall what was the key point that you brought forward to the investors that really got them to decide, okay, this is it, I'm going to invest? Was there anything specific that you'd recall that in your pitch got a light bulb illuminating above their heads and they go, yes?
People find out that we were an ingredient, so we were B2B. So we were not focusing on stocking, commercializing, but we were all about having partnership and be powered by top brands, with Carhartt, with Eddie Bauer, and being a technology provider, but using this big brand drum with all the social media, all the shops across the world. That's make them very interested.
Right. So what I'm hearing there is that they saw the potential for scale
Yes.
based on the fact that it's a B2B, so it can be sold to any other businesses, and they take care of the commercialization. So you're moving a big part of the operations side and touch point with the final customer.
Yeah, I think there is also another thing which is very simple, and that's normally almost the way I pitch. On apparel are made for two things:
Hmm.
to either to make you beautiful or work about your appearances, and or have to protect you. And I think people perceive very early that we were developing a technology which protect, and this is the basic thing for an apparel. It's not something a gimmick regarding sometimes stress management, and because we have seen a lot of product into apparel just coming and disappearing 3, 4, 5 months after, or 2 or 3 years. And I think the real thing was to know the market, to not be overpriced, to have a technology which is invisible in order that nobody could see and still look a normal apparel and not being Iron Man. And third, to have a value proposition, which, as I said, was strong, and that's also what was. I think that was even a fundamentum for the investors.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that your investors are still with you, and
Yes.
they still continue to invest money in the idea. I mean, now it's a very successful company and helping you to grow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have been. It's always challenging because some partners have sometime an early exit strategy than
Mm.
others. But I would say I think we had one person out of 32 investors which
Hmm.
which sold their shares. All the rest they are still because they see value growing, the company growing, and also we try to, yeah, to reach our objectives.
Excellent. And so you got 30 plus investors, and in terms of partnerships as well. So you mentioned you developed as a B2B, you developed partnership with numerous market players. Could you tell me more about that? How did these partnerships come about, and what's the role that they played in scaling up your business?
So how I contact them, I think it's always at the very beginning. As I say, we got approached directly with the brands which
Mm.
were interested in, which pretty much put out technologies and say, hey, you guys seems to be are interesting. That's how, and then we have been able with those ones to move from craftsmanship to pre-industrializations. So talking about several thousand pieces a year, but that's also it's a different it's almost a different. So we had to hire some people, look for industrial partners. That was one of the challenge we face, and then after pretty much the big guys help us a lot towards to build up the community, build up to be visible,
Hmm.
to and to be recognized in the market across medias, across articles, across yes, influencers. That was and the brands, they were the one, our clients, they were definitely doing a great job, and the goal was always to to prepare and to be visible with most of our partners always the same way. I have here, I don't know, this is an Eddie Bauer, so for them that was not a problem to put Eddie Bauer and Clim8 next to it, and that would have been the same way for, of course, on the product for even a bigger brand like I would say Carhartt. That was the same thing, always
Yeah.
be visible to prove and for them that was also important to say, okay, hey, I offer the best for my clients, right, for my end users, and to be able to be perceived that, hey, you guys, you are the expert, and that in a year or two, not more than that, we have been able to say from being hard to say we want to be visible to yes, of course. And that's I think that was a great and that was like 2 or 3 years ago, and
That's
now.
beautiful. 2 3 years ago. Okay. So the cycle was um, quite long, I would say. So it takes time to build this. I think this is a key message. Um, that any entrepreneur should keep in mind, that it takes time to build recognition, and through various iterations, and what you're describing, you've iterated many times. Like 4 years, you got the product before you get the final product in on the market, before you starting to get that attraction from the first brand that come in. So I'm going to touch upon the challenges a bit of the journey. I think it's important for aspiring entrepreneurs and for founders of companies. It's important to understand that every journey is different. Every company will have its own challenging moments. The software company will have its own challenging moments. In your case, you're kind of bridging the gap between a physical product with a software product, because you get an app as well. So you developed an app which is connected. So and you get it's an IoT as well. So it's all that connectivity between the human body, the app, and it's not a wearable. So but it's actually a T-shirt that you would wear and go running, for example. So as you scaled Clim8, what were most of the significant challenges in maintaining innovation while expanding operations? Because at some point in time, you get the orders coming in from different partners, but you still need to maintain that innovation and keep on iterating and improving the product.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely value is written on the wall, and the first one is innovation. So on this part, but sometimes innovation, we have an incredible team of R&D, absolutely world class. And but it's true that innovation, you have also to plug this circle of innovation toward the next circle, which is industrialization, which is ops, and so on. And this, the challenge was really to say, okay, you guys, I've been working on innovation, how this can be transitioned towards as it has been thought, the way that it could be easily industrialized and then commercialized, and that's pretty much the waterfall that we learn from, I would say, from pure engineering to which understand the market towards putting a real product on the market. And that took us some times with challenges. We made sometimes mistakes at the beginning to hire people based on their I would say what they were doing, and maybe putting less emphasis into the values. And it's true that that's normally hasn't lasted long, to be honest, because we have a very strong core team. We are not many either. We are about 25 people, so we are not a super strong team, but we still keep this very close and the core value, and that's how we gain. So value was also very important across the journey.
That's quite interesting how you brought this up. So hiring people which are technically good versus hiring people which can work together in that team. I think I'm hearing that chance there. At the same time, you define that core team as about 20 plus people that you have currently, plus the other industrial partners, because you have a whole set of people which are producing your product, but you as part of your product development and commercialization. So you made the strategic choice to not internalize this process of operations. So you have industrial partners who are capable to produce product. What approaches do you use for collaboration? I'm very curious to hear, but in your day-to-day, is there anything that comes to mind, or like one or two approaches that you are fond of and that you see the team as part of the core values, and you mentioned core values, aligns well with the core values, where you're collaborating in a way that you've been a CEO of another company and leader of other companies which are also in the garment industry. So what makes Clim8 stand out in terms of collaboration between team members?
I think there is ownership.
Ownership.
Yeah, ownership. And that's not always the case of having shares, but there is ownership. There is people in the team who are not they are not willing to put a Clim8 tattoo, no, but they really do the very best for the teammate, and that's the spirit. I think that's probably the thing I'm the most proud. That's we have a team, we have people which give their best, and they give their best for their teammates, and that's I think that's and the consequences are having a great a great journey, right? But this is the consequences of a team of people which are dedicated, what they like, they are empowered. It's not every day easy, but they're restless. They always want to improve. They want they always push from the. That's definitely something which is I will feel a bit different than my previous experiences. Ownership.
It's very intriguing because I hear the sense of ownership through the word that you're saying, that people are committed to what they are doing to a level where they own the problems that they are solving for, the innovation that they are going for, and trying their best to improve on the existing product. But there is a sense from what you're saying is that they also own the success of the company individually and as a group.
Yes. Yes, despite the difficulty, we are not. It's maybe a bit, I would say, easier in another startup, let's say a SaaS, where you have most of developer back front, then you have commercial, you have sales. What we have is we have an IoT product, we have thermal engineers, we have people which are working in the lab for retrofitting products, so sewers, and we have marketers as well. So, but we have a bench of people which doesn't speak the same language, I would say almost, the way to proceed, the way to work, the way to do every day. But there is the will and to go further together, to understand the journey, where we go, who is in charge of what. And I think that's the beauty of having, yes, exactly, a team, completely different. We don't have, we have 4 e-textile engineers, 4 e-textile engineers. We don't have 20, 30 as some other startup in apparel, but they work with with engineers, with testers, and that's, I think that's a beauty. And that's how they own it, despite the fact they are different. Values are always the cement of the team.
This brings in a very important, I think, dimension of leadership from your end. And as a leader, how do you maintain that vision as the company is evolving, as the book company is growing, and throughout the challenges as well that you're facing in general?
I try to avoid as much as possible all the discussions, pressure, sometimes from the investment perspective in the team. In order that we just, I think that's very important that there is still this roof on which they don't, they are not, it's like a house, right? There is a roof to protect sometime from the sun when there is super excitement, and sometime from the storm or the snow, right? So, because that's life of a company. And I think that's try to protect this part. I think after there is a lot of in a sense transparency, and that's why people knows where we go and where we are, because we're still a small team, so we can really we share openly. And transparency, it's anyway, you have to be transparent with as I said, we are different people, we speak a different language, so therefore you need to be very pragmatic and say there is a problem. Maybe there's a couple of solutions, but at least I tell you it's not personal, and that's how things goes. So in terms of leadership, no, we with Julian, the other co-founder, we are 180 degrees different. I would say his and that work because there is a lot of respect each other. One is on the front line, one is in the back line, right? Or that's attack and one defense. It's really and then from also what we change is from I would say this very core team. I mean, two co-founders. Now we have a top management team which are taking the lead of the company, and Julian is really much forward to focus into product development, and I'm pretty much focused towards, I would say, commercialization and the market needs. But the beauty is we have, yeah, Pauline and Florian, those two guys are also doing a fantastic job with also involving everybody across the team. And despite the fact we have people in Hong Kong, we have people in with our office, then we have people in Australia, we have people in the US, in Holland. So despite it international and pretty much spread across the globe, I mean everyone is pretty much behind it, and that's so far that's as I said that I think what I'm the most proud is the team.
It's amazing. Um, as so this structure of core leadership in terms of product and commercialization with you and Julian, um, it kind of reminds me somehow of Wozniak and Steve Jobs somehow. So this structure is kind of you mentioned we are 180 degrees, but at the same time together you make the 360 degrees for the company.
Yeah.
So can you share a time when things didn't go as planned, and how did you together as co-founders work it out?
That's I think I'm always looking far, maybe sometimes too far away, and Julian is really looking towards okay, what we do next step, and to go that. So there is like you have your glasses, and sometimes to have a good vision is to have those doppel and I don't know you say it in English, but
Yeah,
exactly you can see from a short reading to long one, right?
right.
And that's I think it's once again transparency to discuss about hey with
Mm.
that how we face it. We have very also clear responsibility and roles. Um, we both he's in charge of all innovation and product and IP and so on, and I try as much as possible. I say as much as possible not to interfere and to be on this side because that's really and at the beginning maybe I was too much and maybe made some came to commercialization or sales who I shouldn't do that, and now we are very I think we're very much on our area of strength I would say where we are good at, and from that we and also having this you say we for me it's like the trimaran, right? You have two sides of the boat, and but they are still the ops in the beginning, and the ops are definitely that the team which make things, and that's always the biggest is the main. It's yeah, the ops which is doing pretty much almost everything in the company, and then sales one side, and sometimes the R&D one side, but that's how the boat goes faster.
I love the analogy, by the way. The Trimaran one is really good. I really love the analogy. So you put in there at the center, yeah, your ops and your company must continue, and
Yeah,
then depending on where the wind is leaning, you
yeah.
can counterbalance, and that's a beautiful analogy, Florian. Thank you for sharing that. How do you see Clim8 evolving in the next 5 years?
Say we are in every four years. I think in 5 years, um, we might be I think hoping to enter into a cooling business. Um, and what we did in 8 years, we should be able to do that within 3 to 4. So I think there will be an acceleration finally from our side, because now we just talk to the right people because we made so many mistakes that would be stupid to make it again, right? So I think we short track most of the development. We somehow outsource more than before. At the beginning, we were trying to do a lot of things by ourselves, and step by step, we are also opening up more things. Maybe you were asking what about the challenge we had. Sorry, I mentioned we had the first 2 years some quality issue that would have could have killed the company, and we decided to all the test everything should be tested and developed internally. So we did that. That was during COVID, and that helped us a lot to be where we are today. But that took us a lot of time. And what we are doing now is definitely still having a very solid testing procedure, and that's allow us to be, I would say, probably at the top. But we have also to be faster and to be able to scale more developments in parallel, and it can be done only with outside partners, and that's what we are opening step by step because yeah, we are moving also towards a bit new technology, which are even more complex. That's what we have, and we need specialists, and that's it. That's how the company grows, and yeah,
That's brilliant. You said something that brought me back really 8 years ago when we were sitting together. And you told me the one who's going to crack the cooling equation is going to win the market. And I can see that 8 years later, it's like you're still having that determination in mind and that vision. How's it going on that front? Because I can feel that there is, I think, in terms of R&D, and don't need to share too much because I know this is R&D, but how's it going in that sense, in that direction?
no, that's it took us time to make step after the other ones, and but we are getting there. As the vision was to have and all our IP at the very beginning when we discussed 2016, right? At the very beginning, was talking about hey, the one who cracked that is gonna yeah, the winner gonna take it all, right? And I think big guys now are jumping into this market because that's growing. You have a nice collaboration between Nike and Hyperice, which have a look. It's a great technology for athletes recovery. So there is a couple of great things coming out. I believe we have with intelligent that we bring also we have quite something which might be interesting on the market at least. So the market is growing more and more. Great people also are joining. So you have a very entry level, but that's not changing anything, I would say. But and the collaboration. What I like also is this is a great example between Nike and Hyperice is having a sportswear brand with I would say a tech company and combine. I think that I see more and more because Nike is not famous for making electronics, and I think more this is such an hybrid product or an hybrid system that you need also you can't own all, and I think more and more is going to be sharing IP, sharing product technologies. That's also the future probably of the apparel.
That's amazing. It's amazing, Florian. I'm very excited to see where this is going because like the cooling, I do remember when I mean weather in Hong Kong is very hot, but in Singapore as well, it's extremely hot. So having an apparel that just with the press of a button you can cool yourself down, that's going to be a dream for a lot of people in hot areas of the world.
You should not even press a button because now the product are not even need to
Adapt.
press a button. It's just adapting. So that's
Beautiful.
yeah, that's how the things are because you have to envision an apparel is the same way as you use your AirPods, right? So you wear them and they work. You don't have to go to your phone and exactly apparel has to be cool, has to be comfy, has to be stylish, has to be washable, and yes, the only thing now is able to react based on your needs. But that's the and cooling, yes, cooling is complex. So that would be the next. But yeah, it hasn't changed too much 8 years after. Just a bit more white air, but the will and the vision is still there. and the market is going in this direction as well.
That's great. I'm so much looking forward to it. Um, as we're closing, Florian, I'd like to get some of your advices to a new founder or an entrepreneur. Um, what advice would you give a founder looking to scale up their company and going through this journey today from your perspective?
So once again, from this deep tech, um, it takes time. This is a marathon, and therefore don't burn yourself or don't get overexcited. Right, that's very important. That at least for your mind and for your health, to take a yeah, to have a good balance, because that's not a yeah, it's a long period of time. That's for me very important. That will be to consider. I think there are key moments where you have to pivot or you have to accelerate, and those are the moments where you should run. And those are the moments where you should catch up really opportunities, because the windows, they don't open often. And when they are open, push as much as you can at those moments. That's definitely also what, and maybe this is one I didn't do it sufficiently at the very beginning, but this is what I've learned. And when you have your ideas and this is, yeah, there is an alignment, go, and don't hesitate to reach anybody. That's I think that's yeah, that's my approach. Don't go too quickly on the market with a product which is not. You can be lucky like us, but our mistake was to rush a year, and that could have been a disaster for the company. So that's very important, that too. Yeah.
You mentioned something as an advice, don't burn yourself. Mm, what habits or practices would have been crucial in helping you to maintain your head together? I mean, there are moments where it's really difficult.
Yes, I think that's always great to. I mean, we discuss about the shiny part of. We said the part of the iceberg, but you have also to. I mean, um, I had a health issue because I push a moment too hard, and I used to be very a lot doing a lot of sports. I still try to do it, but it's also showing that the energy that your body can have is limited. I have learned that from being an athlete, and I've learned that being an entrepreneur. And sometimes those are not the same muscles, the same part of your body that you you burn out. But that's very important to always yeah, listen to your body. And for me, what is absolutely key is to this balance. I almost never work over the weekends because I try to be 150% dead. I try to be to take very little time, but time for myself, and that's key to make this marathon, because that's energize you as much as you need, because the week gonna be long, gonna be tough, and you will have yeah, some fun moments, some harder ones, and that's I think like everybody, but yeah, that's what I would say, that good balance.
And I think we talked about at some point in time, I recall, there was a sort of support system that also your investors suggested to have, whether in coaching or business coaching. And so, how do they, how does that support you as a leader in the company, as a founder and as a team?
We Yes, I have a coach that I have leveraged twice at two different moments of the company, and we have also to our key people in the company also provided
Okay.
coaching. And why? Because the company was growing, responsibility were growing, and some people can also start to manage, and some people are just yeah, very important also in the short, middle, and long terms, and we have invested in them, and yeah, that's definitely help us help them but also help us with a coach. Of course, there were confidential things, and I did, but it was also very interesting to get to understand how your colleagues work, where they're sensible of, just try to trigger in the communication or trigger their interest, just to put the best pretty much in this mix, right? Everyone was bringing, and the goal was to like for me it's like a team sports. It's like American football, right? And or basketball or football. Everyone is having their own strength, and more you understand if the line player is good at this, then you have to adapt a bit your strategy, right? And that's how we did it, and that was great to have um, almost a coach, right? I would say for American football, I was kind of quarterback, but the coach was saying, "Hey, why look at this and that? This is a good alternative with this person." So that's a lot.
So what I'm hearing is that a coach helped you to both assess the situation in terms of people management and identify the strength and observe, and then helped you as well to look into alternatives on how to get the best out of your team.
You're absolutely right, and it also helped me to on about, hey, what on the company, what shall we prioritize? So that was very interesting to work on this part, of course with him being an outsider,
Mm.
but following us from I think I started with him in 2017,
Right.
right? It's also you have seen things happening, and it was great. And if he was not able to do it, we had also other coaches that he was proposing, and for some special cases,
Yeah.
and that helped pretty much.
That's good because what I'm hearing is that the coaching experience extended over time, and with regard to the evolution of the company, um, the coach that you were leveraging there also came and identified areas where he or she could bring in someone else, which is more specialized in that area, that can bring in the value. And I think this is very important as for also the anyone who's listening today. A coach in general is someone who would genuinely try to bring in the value to the person or to the company, regardless of their own self-interest. That's very important. That's how communities of coaches work, and that's why what we talk about communities of coaches. I always say I'm very blessed, for example, as a coach myself. I'm very blessed that I have at least I can think of right now immediately if I need help, 5 coaches on speed dial, which is wonderful, whether for my personal need or whether for someone else. So I immediately can leverage someone that I know that has that expertise and ability to challenge and provide this thought process, help the person, such as a leader, such as yourself, think about things differently. That's what a coach is. Just triggers that thought process.
I have several coaches in that case exactly because I have coaches for business development.
Mm-hmm.
I have coaches for I would say for more on HR and the team. You're right, and other coaches for ops and optimization and so
Mm-hmm.
on. So, but you're absolutely right. You feel a lot sometime alone. You have, of course, co-founders and so on. But when at the end of the day a decision has to be made, I often listen some of the opinions of the people before to making mine,
Mm-hmm.
and that's helped a lot. And those are the people you say you're right. They don't think about the next. I would say the next coaching session with you or the next program, right? It's just about, hey, what do you think? And that's, yeah, I think that's what we have been able to create over the years, and having aspiring partners, it's a must.
Excellent.
Conversation. Yeah.
Excellent. Florian, just before we close, I want to say where can our listeners today and our audience learn more about Clim8 products, about how to get involved with your mission, and you mentioned there is community as well. So where would
Uh,
you direct them?
Now winter is coming. It depends where you guys live, where the position, but we have pretty a lot of collaborations ongoing with in the US, in Canada, with Eddie Bauer, with Carhartt. So you
Hmm.
can we work with Godini, for example, for ski gloves. So plenty of you can have a look on our website
Okay.
www.myclim8.com. There is also all the product inside, and for the one listening up in Europe, that will be we have several brands from Scandinavia to Italy to Germany and to France. So it's I think all the brands are and they are all the products are available online, and that's a great idea of gift for Thanksgiving coming, or for Christmas, or any festivals coming this winter.
Definitely, and here in Canada, apparently the winter is promising to be very, very cold. They expecting
Yes.
very heavy snowfall, so I'm gonna be looking for those products definitely because nothing feels better than having a pair of gloves which just warms you up properly. Yeah.
We try to find out something for you, and yeah, that might change from the Singapore and Hong Kong, definitely.
Excellent.
Great.
Florian, thank you very much for today's session and for today's insightful thoughts and for sharing your experience with us. And I'm really looking forward for a great success for Clim8. And I'm looking forward for what's coming next because the cooling innovative aspect of the apparel, I think that's going to be a game changer. So I'm really looking forward for that.
Yeah, 26, 27, I believe. Stay
We're,
tuned.
we'll be waiting. We'll be waiting.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much for
Florian.
your time, and thank you, Walid, for the invite, and thank you for listening all.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.